First thing I'm going to talk about is the DJI Phantom mics that we have in our green room. We have two sets of these mics. We have a receiver that channels the microphone, and then two microphones itself, along with the raccoon tails to match for wind resistance and popping and things like that whenever it comes to audio. Essentially how they work is you take a headphone jack or a 3.5 millimeter input jack, put it into the out, and then plug the other end into the camera so that you have both of them working. And then you could also plug in the headphones you want to use into the headphone slot with the icon right there, and then you'll be able to hear all that stuff.
Speaking of, where are the headphones?
The headphones are on my desk because I use them for video editing as well. And then the microphones themselves actually have a capability to record audio by itself. There's a button on the side right over here that says REC for recording. You just press that button, and then these guys will work as independent audio recorders, audio recorders.
So we have two sets of these.
Yes.
Why do we have two sets of them?
We have two sets because we have a lot of people.
It's true. But what did we learn the other day when we were trying to use four of them at the same time in the same room?
Well, due to limitations with that, with having multiple people, obviously spacing is a very big concern whenever using these microphones. These microphones work really, really well, but the only drawback I would say is from the fact that the microphones can't be paired to another receiver. There's only one receiver per two microphones. And so due to that, with the amount of people that we have in this room at one time, whenever recording or whatever, if they all need to be mic'd up, there's going to be a lot of echo unless you space them out appropriately or have some things put in place within however you're recording your format through OBS or anything else, adding effects and things.
In this specific sense, we were using a live stream,
yes,
which is why everybody had to be on live at the same time. But theoretically, if we were to shoot this normally, two mics is always the best optimal because we can plug in the center channel, and then it allows it to bring in the information for the two different mics. But with four, what we could do is independently record. So that's why it has that independent record option, where you're no longer bringing everything back to the center channel. We're doing everything independently. So it takes a little bit more extra time and steps.
Yeah.
And then we have to do the cool thing like getting in front of the camera and going, ready, act one, and make the snap so that everybody on the camera and the audio snaps at the same time so we can use it to help match up.
And then we just sync that up on Premiere.
Exactly.
Super easy.
So this is a thing we learned about these is that, the limitations, and it's important for us to understand this stuff. And as we make mistakes, this is some of the ways we learn, right?
Yeah. Phenomenal mics. Phenomenal mics.
It's awesome when we're using just me and you. Or we're doing just a quick interview with a customer, or when we're out doing a trade show and interviewing a person about their product, right? Fantastic for those things. Or if you're using it for an iPhone even. Or a phone device. I
didn't even highlight that aspect. There's receivers on the receiver has an input at the bottom right over there, where if you can snap that off, you input either a USB-C input or a Thunderbolt input, which I don't know if you know is being phased out, but. You plug this into your phone, and then you're able to use receivers on your mobile device for anything else. That's why you see these mics are very, very common now for social media content and things like that, especially like people out in the wild, doing the interviews and things like that. A lot of the people that go to like Bourbon Street or whatever and try to interview drunk people, these are the types of mics that they are using.
Nice.
Phenomenal. Next, we have our Impact VC500 WLN2. This is a monolight that uses a halogen light. This is what we use to light up our backdrop, mainly our green screen, so that we can get good shots of the green screen for keying and things like that in post. I also combo it with a lighting sock this 7-inch diameter circumference. I don't know, but it covers the entire light and adds that diffusion that is well needed for this light because it is quite harsh, just pointing directly at the background itself. Let's get this guy back on there. So yeah, the sock diffuses the lighting to come through so that we can have it hit the backdrop and be able to key and things like that.
The struggle's real.
It's real. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Want to go over the back or?
Oh yeah. Pretty easy system setup. You can add a sync to the other lights. We bought a 3-pack of these guys. One has a softbox on it. The other one has another sock on it as well. All diffusing light. It also came with bounce umbrellas too. This combos really, really well with photography, especially product photography or just modeling and things like that, for you to be able to get the perfect lighting system setup that you want. Essentially, what you do is you turn it on, and then you can switch through and cycle through any of the modes itself. It goes up to 6.0 in terms of lighting. That's the brightest. That's usually what I keep it on, so that the backdrop is well lit. And then you can channel it from there. So we got a 40-watt light. This is from Great Video Maker. Super simple LED RGB light system setup. It's 40 watts, so you're not getting as much power as you would compared to like a 150 watt, like a mono light or something like that we have as well. But this will get the job done. It does pretty good in terms of lighting, adding a supplemental factor. I know this one goes from 3,200 Kelvin to 5,600 Kelvin, going from that warm white lighting to the kind of clinical fluorescent lighting. It also does RGB lighting as well, so you can change it to whichever gaming.
So pretty.
So pretty. This is the gamer light. Usually we keep it at 320 at about 50% to kind of use as a supplemental lighting system setup in combination with the mono lights that we have to kind of give a... What?
Turn it around.
Oh, turn it around?
Yeah, so you can show the back.
Yes. So that we can combo this with the mono lights that we have, so that...
What are those little dock ports right there?
This one?
Side, yeah.
Oh, these are for batteries if you want to put it.
Oh, so it can be mobile as well.
Yes, it's a very good mobile system setup as well. Yeah, you can plug in 2 batteries and then take it anywhere you want if you don't have access to an outlet. Sorry. And if you don't have an outlet where you are shooting, when you have a Jackery generator,
It's not a generator.
we have a Jackery battery output. It has an input, SLR input, DC 12 volt output, 3 USB slots, and an AC output as well. There's a nice little display telling you how much battery is in it, how many watts you're using, what your input and your output is, and it also comes with a flashlight. Pretty nice. Definitely useful on a bunch of shoots if you don't have access to an outlet.
Mostly to charge iPhones.
Mostly to charge iPhones. Next, we have the DJI combo transmission. Essentially how this works is that you get a high bright monitor that you can use with the Ronin 4D. You take it and you set up these little transmission prongs. The next thing that you do is take one of the rechargeable batteries. I forget the actual name for it. I think it's like the smart battery or something like that. You plug that guy in, use the power button to turn this on, and you'll be able to power it up and see what it looks like. When connected, you'll be able to see what the camera is seeing and be able to use that as a monitor. Now, if you want, you can also use the side grips that you get with the Ronin 4D. So let's take this, rotate this guy. Rotate this guy. Let's get these locked in place. Rotated. And now you're able to see what I'm seeing, and then we can control it in any which way. Bam. Super easy, super nice. Perfect use for, if you're in an area where you need to shoot and you aren't able to be there, if that is a small space, or if a condition is unsafe, if there's any heavy equipment, machinery, or things like that, or if you just need to kind of set the camera down and put it on a dolly or anything like that, you're able to do this while sitting down in any chair or anything like that, following the camera and things like that. This would be perfect if you wanted to mount your car, mount the camera onto a car for a high-speed chase or something like that. And if you're sitting in the car itself or a chase car or something like that, you're able to monitor what you're seeing from the camera's lens through this monitor. This also comes with the video transmitter. So if you do not have a Ronin 4D, I'm pretty sure, you're able to use the video transmitter. The video transmitter connects to any camera and then is able to take whatever signal that the camera is setting through Bluetooth and able to connect to the wireless monitor. Pretty nice, pretty simple, pretty easy. And it makes you feel like you're playing a Nintendo Switch or Steam Deck, whatever floats your boat. Next, we have our Sony a6700. This is a hybrid shooter 4K camera. We usually use it for live streaming. The purpose of this camera was to take photos and then also be able to have a secondary shooter for video as well if we needed it. The biggest thing I will say about this camera is the live stream capabilities on this thing are insane. You don't really need a capture card or a cam link for this to work. It just works automatically. You can plug it in with via USB-C off from the side right over here into your machine, and it'll come up with a prompt saying, what are you connecting this camera for? And then you can switch through 4 different cycles, one being live streaming, the other one is using it as a remote shooter, USB transfer, and the fourth option, I forget. But yeah, one of the main principles of this camera is live streaming as well. But also really good for photo and video.
Although we mostly use it for live stream and for the occasional secondary shot with a device that we paired with it quite a bit. What's the device we normally bring around with it as well?
The DJI RS3 Pro gimbal.
And that'll be the next thing up.
Yep. Next, we have the DJI RS3 Pro gimbal. We use this in combination with the Sony a6700. Stabilization on that camera is pretty good. It uses the same stabilizer that the FX3 uses from Sony, but it's not all the way up to that level, so we combo it up with the DJI gimbal. Let's see if I'm opening this up properly. Yep, okay, cool. So the assembly process of this gimbal is pretty easy. You have the battery right over here. You have the tripod mount stand that combos into it. You take it, you screw it in, and then that's your base setup. So what I like to do is just set that thing down off to the side for the time being, and then we have the focus. We have the screw that attaches to the camera itself. And then we have the balancing motor, balancing aspect for the gimbal itself. Along with that, we also have the arm. I guess I don't know exactly what the technical term for this is, but I set this up so that I have another hand that I could kind of strap to the gimbal, so that my one arm doesn't get tired, like holding it like a lightsaber. So that usually helps. Also, it builds forearm strength. But yeah, so this is the actual motor of the gimbal itself. This is the whole inner workings of everything. There's an input right over here that connects to the battery. So then you should just click that thing in. If you're having a hard time clicking this thing in, there is an unlock button right over here. Press and hold that down, and then you'll hear it kind of click in together, and that's how you know it's set up. So now that we have that ready, what we can do is, and if you want to attach this part, you just take it and then slide it in through here and then clamp it on so that it's on properly, but I'm not going to do that right now. So we have everything connected for the camera itself. Now you just take it and you slide it in, and on the sides right over here, it shows like distances and things like that. That's essentially for balancing. I kind of know exactly where my camera or this camera is supposed to balance at. If you use other cameras, it depends on your lens, the weight of the camera itself, and then you'll be able to balance it that way. So now we kind of have it set up in this stationary format. I'll just use the power button. I'll hold that. It'll unclick, and everything is ready. So now what you can do if your gimbal is not balanced the way that you want it to be, you can power this thing off, unlock everything, and kind of see how it fits. If you notice that some of the things are off the way that it is sitting and things like that, that's where you go in and you adjust.
The counterweight.
Yes, the counterweight.
And the reason for this is it's not just for this camera, right? It's meant for pretty much any type of digital SLR that can go with this.
Yes.
That can mount. So that way you can have different weights or different lenses, different things are going to have different weights on it. This helps you then balance that out.
Cool. Let's power that thing back up. And so on the actual display itself, it'll show several things. What we can look at right over here is the green camera. When that kind of fades to an orange or a red, I wouldn't know, I'm colorblind. That's how you know it's not balanced. But I think the balancing job that I did has it pretty solid.
It looks good.
Yeah. So we should be good. There's other settings in here as well. There's the format that you could change it into. So right now it's in a pan tilt follow. We can change it to a pan follow, and then we can also change it to an FPV mode that kind of breaks all the rules and kind of gets it a little bit more free flowy. I usually keep it in pan tilt follow. I feel like it does whatever the basics I need it to. The other thing is the speed of the following for the gimbal itself. If we change it to a slow, it'll slowly change it back and forth whenever I pan. Or we could do it too fast, and it'll quickly whip back and forth. I usually keep it at a medium. I feel like my motions, especially for the things that we shoot, doesn't really need that much motion, but it also doesn't need to be way too slow.
And if we did have a lot of motion, we'd be using a different camera.
Yes. So,
which is the camera we're currently shooting on.
Yes. With that being said, I think we should bring out that camera. We have the DJI Ronin 4D. This baby is a 6K camera with a Zenmuse X9 lens format. It has a gimbal built into the camera itself. The way it works is we got our battery packs right over here. You slide in the battery pack. To release it, you press this button. It is a, how many watts is this? How many amps? 97, or it has a max charge voltage of 26 volts. Typically, if you're shooting this on 4K, you'll probably get about an hour or so of battery life. If you shoot it on 6K, you'll be getting about half that at 30 minutes, which is why we run with the DC power in, which is on the other side. The DC voltage in takes from 12 to 30 volts. And on this side as well, we have the connection to a microphone system setup, headphone system setup, and the HDMI, which the HDMI itself we combo with a Camlink OBS cam or Elgato Camlink, so that we can run it into OBS for live streaming. On this side itself, you can notice that there is a missing slot right over here. That is for one of the handle sticks, the joysticks. This is the focus joystick, mainly used for focusing, and then also to be able to switch your modes, your peaking, and then also record. Right over here, we have the focus monitor itself. The other joystick itself actually has a joystick so that you can control the gimbal itself. It has the tracking mode and then the experimental data. So let's attach that. Snap that in. On the other side itself, we have the high bright monitor that is attached to the camera from the other side. And then over here, we have all of our controls. So let's power this bad boy on. And you'll notice when you power it on, the camera itself, the gimbal will activate and start to stabilize. Okay. So it'll center itself. So we're good. And now we can control it with our joystick. We can adjust the focus on it as well. Snapped in properly. There we go. All right. Now that we have this guy powered on, we can see a couple of the buttons on this side. This little knob right over here is for focusing. This little knob up top as well is to be able to control the camera up and down. We also have M right over here for the different modes that it has. If we take a look back onto this side, we have a record button, and then we have the 4D button, which if we hit it, it'll hit 4-dimensional mode. You essentially activate the gimbal, and with LiDAR detecting from the bottom of the gimbal itself and from up top, this LiDAR scanner right over here, it'll be able to judge the distance from down and up, and then how far away you are from an object. It's kind of like how a bat works with sonar technology, or sonar, where they're bouncing waves back and forth and things like that. But you're just doing it to stabilize the camera. If we look at this side again, we have a recenter mode at C1. So if you press that twice, it'll recenter the camera. And then a C2 right over here. If you press twice, it'll activate the Z mode. And then we also have the other different gimbal modes. So right now, this is what happens when you set it to off. This is for following, and then this is for locking, so that, it'll lock the distance at where it's at. Let's center this guy. And then we also have the pan follow mode, the pan tilt mode, and then the FPV mode that we saw in the RS3 Pro. So they function the exact same way in how they work when it comes to stabilizing what kind of effect you want for that stabilization. Obviously, with FPV mode, you're getting more shaky camera, kind of like handheld style, but still pretty stabilized. Pan tilt, pan follow do exactly as what they do. They tilt, they follow, while also making sure that the camera stabilized itself. But that's pretty much it.